We got some bad news, Saints fans, and I have to tell you, it's time for an honest conversation. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trace Gerard. Thank you so much for tuning into today's program, but let's just dive straight into it. Over the weekend, Ian Rapoport, Tom Pelissero, they both reported that Joe Brady has withdrawn his name from consideration for the New Orleans Saints head coaching job. And to be honest, it's not a good look. I mean, this is now the second candidate that was a former coach that had an early start to their coaching career with the New Orleans Saints. And they viewed that this opportunity was not desirable enough. Joe Brady, for sure. He's got a really good situation with the Buffalo Bills. You have Josh Allen, arguably one of the one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. The offense is flying. You're competing for the AFC Championship this evening. Meanwhile, Aaron Glenn, he was a player. He was a coach. He wanted nothing to do with this team. The New York Jets played their cards right. The Buffalo Bills are doing things right. The New Orleans Saints, they are not. But really quick, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel because this offseason, a lot of things are changing and we're going to cover every step of it. But on top of that, I'm also going to be out in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, doing coverage from Radio Row, doing things behind the scenes. We're going to be out on Canal Street, out on Bourbon, talking to Saints fans and NFL fans alike. It's going to be really exciting and really fun coverage, so I hope you guys tune in. But more importantly, if seeing this pisses you off, if seeing this ugly t-shirt, and you agree that this t-shirt's disgusting. I mean, I can't even respect enough to keep it on the hanger. Diehard Saints fans only. This is not a time to be a weak fan. This is a time to be a strong fan. We're going to be going through some nonsense for the foreseeable future as Saints fans. But together, we're going to get through it, and I'm going to be here every step of the way. So subscribe to the channel. Now, I want to talk first about who's recently interviewed. The Saints have already spoke twice now with Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants, and Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. Now, both of these guys, I'm going to go ahead and say it, I don't want to be the head coach. Anthony Weaver, if I had to pick between the two, would be my pick, but it's still, I don't know if he's ready. And to be totally honest, it feels like you missed out on some really good opportunities with some really young, bright minds. But that brings us to Mike McCarthy or Darren Rizzi. I mean, which one would you rather have? Do you want the coach that's been there and done that, won a Super Bowl, has had 3 straight 12-win seasons, not including this past year? The Cowboys had a 7-win season after 3 straight 12-win seasons. I mean, he's the 12th winningest head coach in NFL history. An overall career winning record, 185, 123-2. That's good for 60%, or .600. That's a pretty good win percentage. Like with Mike McCarthy, I don't think it's a horrible hire, but it's definitely not one that's going to light a spark in the fan base. It's definitely one that's not going to fire people up. It's definitely one that's not going to get people excited. And that's totally fair. I will say it's extremely infuriating and it's extremely frustrating to see the New Orleans Saints not, be willing to look themselves in the mirror and be honest with where they are. I mean, they're not in a good situation. They're a bad team with an aging roster, with not a lot of direction in sight. I mean, I will say this, at least, we're not the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think it's a much worse situation, though. And, with Mike McCarthy, there is familiarity there between Mickey Loomis and McCarthy. He served as the offensive coordinator between 2000 and 2004. The Saints were rather successful under McCarthy's offense with Aaron Brooks as the quarterback. However, it doesn't move the needle. It doesn't fire me up. And I'm sure after some time, I'll talk myself into it. And I'm sure after some time, I'll probably convince myself it's actually not that bad of a hire. But for the time being, and for the exact moment we're in, I'm not inspired. I'm not jazzed. I'm not happy. And I understand that you still have the possibility of going to hire Kellen Moore, who I think is a bright offensive mind. And I think that we should, as Saints fans, pay very close attention to this NFC Championship game. Because you're also not out on Kliff Kingsbury. I mean, Kliff Kingsbury he wasn't going to accept an interview for the New Orleans Saints. He was going to accept a handful of interviews. But now, he's waiting until after the playoff run is done for the Washington Commanders. So for the New Orleans Saints, they're the only head coaching opening right now. So if Kliff Kingsbury wants to be a head coach, you only got one spot to do it. Darren Rizzi is the best option. There's only one spot to do it. If Mike McCarthy is the belle of the ball at this point, there's only one place he can go. That's the New Orleans Saints. And unfortunately for the Saints, they've dug themselves into this hole. They've created all of these problems by kicking the can down the road. And again, for the record, this is something that I was in support of for years. Because if you're making the playoffs, if you're making conference championship games, if you're winning the division, and you're kicking the can down the road, 10, 11, 12-win seasons, nobody bats an eye. But when you don't get the results, and when you're ignorant to the results, and you're blind, and you're just basically giving a big old middle finger to the fan base saying, no, everything's good. I think we're actually ready to compete. We have a roster that can win. We're not that far off. I just think that bad things happened. Yeah, no doubt. Injuries were a problem. You can't control injuries. But you know what you can control? You can control the quality of talent on your roster. You can control stupid contracts. You can control not giving aging players way too much money so you can't add quality backups and quality depth. That's something you can't control, Mickey Loomis. So let's do exactly what you say. And let's look beyond the results. What is the real issue with the Saints? We're going to talk about it. We're going to have an honest conversation. Really quick, I got to give a shout out to Game Time, today's presenting sponsor. If you want to download the Game Time app and you want to go to a live event, hey, we can get you $20 off your first purchase with code CHATSPORTS. Terms do apply, but I highly encourage you to check out the Game Time app. They have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible seats and only incredible deals. It filters out the fluff. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets you know you're not interested in anyway. So you guys can get tickets to go see Burt Kreischer. The Super Bowl's coming up. The New Orleans Pelicans, they're starting to maybe turn things around, I think. I'm not totally sure. But, hey, you can go get really, really cheap tickets if you download the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download Game Time, use code CHATSPORTS, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but once again, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase. All the information is in the comment section and description of this video. Shout out to Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. You also got to check out Game Time for their awesome Game Time ticket coverage, the lowest price guaranteed, seat views, all-in pricing, and everything in between. Like I said, hit the comments or in the description of this video to check out that link to get started with Game Time. Alrighty, let's have an honest conversation. Mickey Loomis, I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you. This team is a joke, and you're the one to blame here. I mean, the fact that you didn't want to fire Dennis Allen, the fact that you saw a 7-game losing streak, you saw the embarrassment that this team was, the horrible spirit of football that this team embodied, the lack of leadership, the lack of discipline, the lack of quality football. You're to blame. It's your fault, Mickey Loomis. You want to know why people are upset with you? You want to know why you don't have butts in seats? You want to know why opposing fan bases are much more prominent in the dome? It's because of you. If Mickey Loomis wanted to continue to be an idiot and continue to give out stupid contracts, fine. But I want to stop hearing the same old song and dance. I want to stop hearing the excuses. I want to stop hearing the bullshit. I want to hear Mickey Loomis say, you know what? We're a poorly run organization. I don't care about you, and I'm just here to take your money. The product we put out does not matter. The quality of the team, we don't care. That's basically what they're saying. So until Mickey Loomis can nut up and admit that, I don't want to hear it from him. This is a joke. This is a nightmare. And until Gail Benson has to go over Mickey Loomis like she did to get Dennis Allen fired, until she has to do that conversation and do that with Mickey Loomis, until he is out of the general manager role, whether it's he's fired, whether it's he's demoted, whether it's he takes on another role, I don't care. He cannot continue to operate this football team. He cannot continue to manage the daily operations of the New Orleans Saints. He is not capable of doing it at a high quality level. He is not able to put together a roster that can compete in the worst division in all of sports. The NFC South is a joke. The fact that we are not even competitive when you're paying a quarterback $150 million is an absolute joke. Shame on you, Mickey Loomis. You should be disappointed in yourself. You should be upset with yourself, and you have nobody but to blame but the person in the mirror. So, Saints fans, I just wanted to get my soapbox off. I wanted to just rant. I wanted to say how upset I am. But I will say this. If we hire Mike McCarthy, I don't think it's the worst thing in the whole wide world. Again, it's not going to move the needle. It's not going to excite you. It's not going to inspire you. But he's a winner. 12th winningest head coach in NFL history. 3 straight 12-win seasons for the Dallas Cowboys. This past year, 7 wins. Not good. But he had 3 straight 12-win seasons. He's expected to interview midweek for the job, so we'll have to see what happens. The New Orleans Saints have satisfied the Rooney Rule with their interviews of Mike Kafka and Anthony Weaver, so they are free to make their hire. Is it going to be Darren Rizzi? Is it going to be Mike McCarthy? Could it be Kliff Kingsbury? I think it's going to come down to McCarthy or Rizzi. So let me know in the comments section what you think, Saints fans. And as always, we greatly appreciate the Who Dat Nation for making us a part of their day. Y'all stay golden. Happy playoff football day. Enjoy watching some quality football for once if you're a Saints fan. But y'all stay golden. We'll have a bunch of videos for you this week. Remember to subscribe. A lot of things changing, a lot of things happening this offseason. It's going to get busy, and you do not want to miss a thing.